Okay, guy this month. Presumably there is a June meeting, so I don't have to do the entire summertime. Am I good, Bruce? Okay, that's a thumbs up. In anticipation of our guest's lecture, I spent 20 minutes looking for cartoon from about 50 plus years ago. How many people remember the Yom Kippur War and Skylab? Anybody? Yeah, we're old enough. I knew a lot of people who had large Detroit cars with very large V8 engines, tail fins, and you could play ping pong on the hood. I think it was a Herman cartoon. Here's these two old guys, looking like me, and behind them is this land yacht just sitting there, a few cobwebs on it. And one guy says, I'm hoping Skylab will hit it. There's consequences, even though it's funny. Yeah. The thing that terrified me about Gravity, that movie, yeah, there was a bunch of hokey stuff, but the cascade effect of big pieces turning into 1,000 small pieces into 1,000,000 little pieces, eventually they get small enough that solar wind and light pressure push them out of the solar system, which is just pushing them down the road to someone else's problem in 10 million years. It's kind of scary up there. And if you don't know what the tragedy of the commons is, look it up. It's going on all around us with the seas, the commons, the atmosphere, fishing, everything. Okay. And now on to something enlightening. So here we go. I noticed this, as everyone knows, and certainly guys with solar telescopes. The sun goes through cycles. Now, there isn't a climate model in the world that seriously considers solar flux variations. I don't think they look at cosmic rays or magnetic field within the solar system, but they should. Anyone with a solar telescope knows that, oh, yeah, the sun's pretty important. We have the moon, Venus, and Saturn in the east before sunrise. Seasons of Saturn. We're now looking at the rings from their south side, or trying to. And where are all the planets? I always try and throw a joke in someplace. And a Terminator Moon, and it has nothing to do with Arnold. And then one for those of us like me who missed the occultation in January of Mars by the moon. Okay, that's to scale. That's a 2-hour video taken by a guy from Inverness, Scotland. So that's a quiet sun. That little storm is 10 times the size of the Earth. And God only knows, I don't know what units you would have to use exponential notation for to figure out the energy flux that is going on there. This is one of the reasons I don't lose too much sleep over, are there 280 or 290 parts per million of CO2 in our atmosphere? This is pretty important too. Okay, from the sublime to the interesting. Let's see, this is the middle of the period. So coincidentally, it's the 23rd of May at 4:30 in the morning. This is your view. To the east, right there is the due east marker. This is a stellarium screenshot, of course. And this is the 10-degree elevation. So it's well up in the sky. Saturn is bright enough to see, but not as bright as usually for a number of reasons. Venus, of course, looks like a searchlight and a thin crescent moon. And if you have a good scope and know how to use it, of course, it's only 10 degrees up. That's what it will look like. And you notice you really don't see those rings because it's only 2 months past the time that they were edge on to us, at which point they disappear because they're only 100 meters thick, 180,000 miles wide, but 100 meters thick. I think that's right. I can't remember the exact details. And the big moon Titan, I've never seen it in binoculars, but apparently it can be done. I've never managed it. So Saturn it's spring for the Southern Hemisphere. And of course, the planets are all in different places. This is just a little snapshot from heavens above. You can see the big picture is the outer solar system. This is the inset. And my comment is I'm really glad to see Mars here, because otherwise the whole works would tip over. I think I mentioned there was an incident in the House of Representatives in the States at one point when the distinguished representative from Guam was complaining about the influx of people moving to Guam. And he was very much concerned because if they all moved to that one spot, the island could tip over. I didn't make that up. He's in the congressional record. Now, this is the Terminator Moon. Nothing to do with the movie. It looks like the moon, but it's a photo mosaic of images taken right near the Terminator. So over a 2-week period, as the lit portion, the dark side, of course, at a new moon is the whole thing. And then the light starts to appear on the right-hand edge here, the western side of the moon, and it moves slowly across as the moon goes like this. So that dark line retreats that way, east from our view, west on the moon. And if you take pictures of that strip as it moves, you get this. And it really highlights the elevation differences because the shadows are what show that up. You will never see the moon look like this when it's a full moon because one, the glare is overwhelming and there's no shadows for any of this stuff. But if you look, every single crater right here, right there, Copernicus, no, that's Tycho, that's Copernicus, I think. The right-hand side of the crater is in shadow in all of them. And that's clever Photoshop. You can actually see someplace, oh yeah, there's a scarp somewhere in here. I haven't found it, but then I didn't spend more than 5 minutes looking for it. There's a bunch of little linear features on the moon that you can see if you get it just right with a scope and a really good map at exactly the right time. And this shows all of them. So I thought it was just very cool. There's a target for people who want to look at the moon. Yes. Like for a long, long time. That is astronomy picture of the day, April 22nd. Yep. Look in the archive, it's there. Here's another one. January 14th, photograph from that well-known astronomy center of Chicago. and that's Mars. And apparently, whoever Imran Sultan, I just have to tip my hat to whoever, to this guy. I mean, you look at that, and that's an awesome picture. You can see the polar cap on Mars. I would aspire to do this sort of thing, except I'm getting too old for this nonsense. And that's that.